Chira Show. I'm Pastor Chira, and today we launch. We launch into new territory. We launch into new mindset. We launch into new relationship. Are you ready to launch out? Come on and launch out with me as we go into this conversation on today. But first, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. It is a whole new year, a whole new season, a whole new time. And I know that we have all been embracing everything that has been going on. First of all, we reflected, and now we're embracing on what's ahead. And I'm excited on what's ahead for us here at the Pastor Chira Show, because as you can see, we have made some changes, we have made some adjustments, but we are moving forward. We are moving forward in everything that God has for us to do. And in this move forward, I kind of reached back, kind of sort of. I kind of reached back. I reached back in my arsenal because I saw that someone that I knew from my past kind of sort of met someone. You'll see in a second. But he has something going on, and I got so excited about it. So this show is about reconnection. It's about reconnecting with someone that I haven't connected with for a long time. Who am I talking about? I am talking about none other than the Pastor Franklin Brown. Yes!
Hey.
Yes! Hey, Pastor, how you doing?
Hey, Pastor Chira, how are you?
I am great. Last time we talked, I was nowhere near pastoring. I was nowhere near this place. And we have...
Look how the Lord works.
Look how the Lord works.
Yes.
Sometimes we say he got jokes.
He's got an awesome sense of humor, because I told the Lord 40 years ago that I would never live in the South, and we'll just leave that right there.
Exactly. Exactly. And look where we are.
Look where we are. Yes.
Listen, I am so excited about sitting and having this conversation with you and reconnecting with you and all that God is doing for and with you. But before we get into that, can you just introduce yourself to the viewing audience?
Sure. Hi, my name is Pastor Franklin Avery Brown. I currently reside in Knoxville, Tennessee. I am the presiding elder of the Tennessee district of the Fire Baptized Holiness Churches of God of the Americas. I am a Yankee, though. I am from New England, was in New York 48 years, and the Lord saw fit to open up a ministry opportunity for me to come to Knoxville, Tennessee. And we've been here for the last 12 years. I am the senior pastor of Mount Moriah FBH Church and also Antioch FBH Church in this wonderful city of Knoxville. Love the climate, love the weather. It's a little cold right now, but I'm a little used to it from the good old New England and New York winters. Grateful to be on with Pastor Chira today, as she stated earlier, about reconnections. This is what it's about. God just has a plan, and we'll talk more about what's on the horizon and what's on the plate. And I'm just glad to be with you on today, Pastor Chira.
I'm glad that you are here, because it's been a while, and I was reflecting, and I was remembering how we met in here in Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia area, when you came down to be part of our CLC concert that they did outside, and we would just come and we would just have everyone come and sing and just give God glory for an entire day. And it was an amazing time. It was so many connections that happened during that period. So you have been doing this for some time, but what really, I mean, you said that you would never move to the South, and now you're in Tennessee. How did you get to Tennessee? What happened?
Well, I've been a part of the Fire Baptized Holiness Churches for almost 40 years.
Okay.
And when we initially met, I was pastoring in New Rochelle, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2012, the pastor of the church that I'm currently pastoring, he became one of our bishops. And upon his ascension to the bishopric, he asked if I would come to Knoxville
Mm-hmm.
to preside over the Tennessee district and to become the senior pastor of Mount Moriah. And, this has been my covering for all of these years. And I said, Lord, I know what I said in the past, but in this time frame, I sent your move in this, and me and my wife, we relocated from New York to Knoxville, Tennessee, and now it's been 12 years, moving into our 13th year. So
Wow.
God does have, His ways are definitely not our ways, and His thoughts not our thoughts. But I bless God for just just following, just following His leading and following
Yeah.
His move.
Yeah, and that's what, you know what, and that can sometimes be the hardest thing for us to do
Hmm.
because, even when we are in our places and we're comfortable, right? And and we know our routines and we know what we're doing and we know how to, maneuver in these ways. And so how is the ministry in New Rochelle? Did they continue, or did
Oh
someone was
yes,
someone
oh
else put in
yes,
place?
yes, yes. As a matter of fact, uh, when I was transferred here, one of the ministers, the New York district in Brooklyn, they sent her and her husband back to New Rochelle, as a church they both grew up in. And she has since gone on to be with the Lord, and her husband is the senior pastor at St. Paul
Wow.
in New Rochelle now.
Wow. So God has really just really kept and covered everyone and
Yes,
everything. So are you
yes.
still overseeing them while they are there? So have you moved into higher heights and deeper depths in
Well, the the the, the higher height is, I guess, if we go, with title, I am the presiding elder in Tennessee. I'm
Okay.
over 8 churches here. They have a different presiding elder on the New York Long Island
Ah,
district.
okay.
So we're of course, part of the same Reformation, but I have my own district here,
Okay.
that I cover.
That is amazing. So it really is important to be connected and covered.
Yes,
What would
yes.
you say to this generation of oh Lord, of ministers and pastors and leaders who are in the way of, you know what? God called me. I'm all right. I don't need anybody and I'm just going to do what the Lord says. What would you say to that?
It's interesting because as I reflect back when I was a young minister, I joined the Fire Baptized Church in Newark, St. Paul Fire Baptized Holiness Church in Newark. I was 21 years old,
Mm.
and as a young minister, full of zeal, full of strength or something, full of whatever.
Full.
Uh, there were times there were times that I felt, oh yeah, I'm ready to do this. Yeah, send me to a church. I'm ready to do such a. And I had a very wise pastor.
Mm.
He saw that, he saw the calling on me, but he was able to put up guardrails and would not release me until I was more, number one, mature and
Mm-hmm.
had settled a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So even though at 21 and 22 there was an offer made, he was like, nah, not yet, not yet,
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah.
He kept me under his tutelage until I was about 27,
Mm.
and then they sent me to a mission first. It was, I called it boot camp because it was in the mother's basement. I had
Mm.
about three people, and it was just, can you be faithful over the few before you get
My
sent
God.
someplace else or moved to someplace else. To this generation now, patience is not their biggest strongest suit.
Right.
It's like you hear something from the Lord or you feel something in your spirit and you want to run full speed ahead. I have what I've developed over these years, I call them Brownisms. I'm like, look, everyone can have their own quotes. I have my own quotes as well. You have to maintain a pace that can be maintained. And when
Yeah.
you come out the gate like that yapping chihuahua with all of this energy and do not submit to
Yeah.
proper processing, it's a processing. God has got to process you to deal with, number one, the souls of men and women, to deal
Yeah.
with your own. Listen, I still, and been doing this a long time, I still have to deal with my own crazy. And
That's
it's
it.
good to have covering, to have someone, number one, that keeps you accountable, number two, that keeps you integral, and someone who can help you through those times when you're like, you know what, forget this, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm done. Uh, but to be able to give you sound doctrine, sound wisdom, and just keep
Yes.
you grounded.
Yes.
So I would say, to this generation, make sure, be under somebody. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, you can't be led of the Lord and you can't be autonomous in how you govern, where you govern, but have someone who can keep you in check.
That's it. That's it. You know what? Because everyone is born with parents.
Hmm.
Nobody is born and put out here to just figure it out on your own. When you're
Hmm.
born, you have to be nurtured, you have to be cared for, you have to be protected, right? There are all these things that come. And that's even in ministry. Even in ministry, when you're going and you hear, because when we're born, listen, we just hear and we got to figure it out.
Hmm.
But there's
Hmm.
someone to help guide us and lead us and nurture us, right? And care for us and raise us in the way that we should
Right.
go, right? And so that was sound wisdom that you just gave, because it is a process, and you
Hmm.
have been in a process all these years, in
Hmm.
the love that you have, not just in ministry but in music.
Yes.
You have a whole love in ministry and music, and you have brought it together in such a way that has been so dynamic. And we're going to go to a commercial real quick. And on
Okay.
the other side, we're going to talk about that ministry of music that you do and what you have coming out. So
Okay.
I need everybody to
Excellent.
stay tuned, and we will be right back. Do you have a song or a single that's coming out soon? Be our Artist of the Month. Contact us at the Pastor Chira Show so that you can be heard worldwide. Your music counts. Your ministry counts. We want you to be seen and heard because you have a sound like no other. Be the Artist of the Month for the Pastor Chira Show. Contact us at thepastorchirashow.com and let us know that you have something that's coming out. You have a concert that's coming up. You have a project that's being produced. Be with us as the Artist of the Month for the Pastor Chira Show. I'm looking forward to it. See you soon. We're back. So are you ready to complete this conversation with who?
I am.
Come on, let's bring him in.
Come on.
Pastor Franklin Brown. Yes. Woo! Yes. And so, listen, I am so grateful for the intellect that you gave on the first half of the show, just letting us know a little bit about you, your heart, where you come from, and just sharing some things pertaining to ministry. But, you know, we're here because you got some other things going on, and I'm excited because it's how we connected in the first place, through music. And so you have been on this musical journey for a long time, but where did it start and how did you get here?
Okay. Well, it started, Lord have mercy, as I date myself, but it started a few decades ago at a church in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Holiness Church of God for All People. Amen. Under my pastor was the late Bishop Henry Simmons. And growing up in that church, my mother joined that church when I was 6 months old. And I started singing. They had me singing solos at 4 when I was able to kind of talk and start to, I guess, sing a little bit. I would start singing solos in some of our conventions, and even as a toddler, and just growing up. And when I got into my early teens, I had a desire to want to play. My mother didn't have the money necessary to send me to school for music or to learn how to play the organ. But I listened. She brought me this, and I'm really dating myself. It was this Magnus chord organ. You hit this little chord, and then you play by numbers, and they had little sheet music.
Yes!
And I started with one of those.
Wow.
And Pastor Chira, I was about 10 years old in our junior choir, and I wrote my first song. It was just a little fast ditty called "Praise Your Name," and it taught it to the junior choir. And then a few years later, I started I remember one particular Sunday, I asked my pastor. I said, "Pastor, I want to learn how to play the organ. We need an organist, at our church. I want to learn how to play." And he laid hands on me and decreed and spoke that over my life. And I just went home with that little Magnus chord organ, and I started just chording. And there were a couple of musicians in Bridgeport. I sat under a couple of them for a little while, and then the Lord just allowed it to take off. Wow. And then I started playing for our young adult choir. I'm about 15 at this time, going into 16. And then I start writing more songs.
Wow.
And then I go off to college. I end up playing for the gospel choir at college for 4 years, wrote a couple of songs then, moved to New Jersey. The choir there, pastor wanted to do a recording. And I said, well, I write, and presented, and on that album, and we recorded it in 1990. Wow. And 4 songs was on that album. And then in
what was the name of the album?
Yes to That Home. St. Paul, Fire Baptized Holiness Church Mass Choir.
Oh, wow.
And
so we can get you from back then.
You can find it out. It's out on YouTube. It's out there. But yes, four of the songs I was able to pen. Wow. And also I've done some I did some writing. Bishop Aaron McDaniels recorded one of the songs that I've written um, on one of his projects. And then I moved into New Rochelle, and I
Mm-hmm.
did a small project that never ever kind of saw the light of day, but it was my first foray in trying to record back in '95 at my home church.
Okay.
And then in 2000,
Mm-hmm.
we recorded our first project,
Oh, wow.
and that's how myself, Andina, from our fire baptized connection,
Mm-hmm.
um, we connected, and she just came in and just became just a bulldog for getting us out there. We were singing some of everywhere. I
Wow.
mean, she was. I mean, and I didn't have the budget to really to to pay her what she was worth and the work and the connections that she did. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, she just believed in us so much, and I thank God for her. And we recorded that project, and then 7 years later, I decided to do it again, and we
We're gonna
recorded
do it
great
again.
things. We're gonna do it again. We did great things, and then you know, and we sang, did a few places there, and then moved down. I moved to Knoxville, and I did a project. I had started it while I was in New York, but I
Mm-hmm.
finished it while I was in Knoxville.
Okay.
Um, and we released that in 2014.
So you've just been
And
writing and releasing and writing and releasing
yes, and
and
over
writing
these
and
years, yes,
releasing.
and releasing.
Yes, and who you referring to is Pastor Andina Leak Jackson, who has
Yes.
been very instrumental in a lot of things. She's had her hands in ministry as well, and
Mhm,
she's our
mhm.
connection, right? And to make sure
Yes,
that even we
yes.
got here on today, and we
Mhm.
appreciate her. We appreciate her for
Yes,
all
very much
that she
so.
does and who she is. Yes, because she is someone who keeps connections and makes connections.
Right,
And
exactly.
that is always important to have, especially when you're in the realm that you're in making
Hmm.
music, because it's a tough industry. But
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have this new song that you have put out, that is out there for everyone. It is hot like fire. But can
Ah,
you tell the people what the song is, where it came from, when you wrote it? Like, just give us a little background
okay.
on.
All right. This latest single is called "Well Done," and
Yes.
it is part of a musical anthology that's been in the works for about 6 years now. Just from different eras of writing, just putting them into one little project, sort of my musical memoir. Right now, Well Done can be found on all digital platforms. You can stream it, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. My sister, we've been Lord, we've been. You talk about connections. We've been connected since we were in our early 20s. She's still serving in ministry. Elder Rashida Bryant, she is doing the lead on this song. It is just a sort of a brown makeover of the hymn. He'll understand and say, "Well done." One of my favorite hymns growing up. My
Yes.
mom used to sing it for a solo. I sung it for a solo, and I just kind of just flipped it a little bit, put a little, contemporary little
Spin.
vibe on it. My
Uh-huh.
musical, my MD, Brother Anthony Dawkins, just want to shout him out a little bit because we have been in this foray for almost April will be 30 years. We have been
Wow.
connected in doing these things. So you can find it out there. Go download it. I wrote this 23 years ago. So
Really?
it's been a minute. Yeah, but I never pressed it. So I said this time we
Why?
were going. I just didn't. That I don't have a
Look at
good
your
reason.
face. You're like,
I know.
I just did
It's
it.
like I just didn't. So when I made up my mind, it was going to go on this one.
Right, right,
So
right.
you know, there will be a few others that I had not pressed, but I wrote long ago that are going to be on this project as well. So
Listen, because you know what? God has, just like you said earlier, God has his timing for everything.
right,
And we
right,
never know what his timing is and when he wants to bring something forth. But the important thing is that we are obedient. We're obedient when he tells us to do something. Because
right.
it's when if we do it in the moment that he tells us to do it, it will come out in the time that it's relevant for. And
That is
so
exactly.
so had you not written it then, had you not penned it then, it would not be ready for now.
Right,
And
right.
so I am so grateful and I'm so thankful that you were obedient to the voice of the Lord and hearing what he had to say in
Hmm.
penning this piece for the people today.
Yes.
Listen, this has been an amazing time. I thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me and just for sharing your heart, your knowledge, you, just who you are and what you do. I am so thankful and grateful for what God is doing in your life, how He is bringing things full circle for you because you have
Thank you.
had so much that has been on your heart that you just want to do before you close your eyes. And God is going
Hmm.
to allow those things to come to pass so you can say, I did well done for Him.
Yeah. Yes.
You
Yes.
can say,
Yes.
I
Yes.
did
Yes.
well
Yes.
for Him. Because
Yes.
don't we want, yes, we want to hear God say, well done.
Well
But
done.
we
That's right.
also want to be able to say, we did well for Him.
Right. Yes.
Did
Thank
well
you
for
so
Him.
much, Pastor Chira, for this
Listen,
time, for this reconnection. And I am so excited about this journey for this time, for
yes.
where the Lord will allow our paths to continue to connect through this process. And thank you for this time.
Always,
Thank you for this
always,
time.
always. Listen,
I
we
appreciate it.
are here. We are available to you. Listen, we're going to make sure that everyone hears well done because that's what we
Please.
want to hear. We want to
Yes.
hear well done. We want to
Yes.
say well done. Lord, I did
Yes.
well for you.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
I'm
Yes. Yes.
excited. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for this time. Listen,
Thank
and
you.
I need everyone to go out and get Well Done by Pastor
Yes.
Franklin Brown. I need you to
Right.
download it. I need you to go and it's on all music platforms. You could just go, you
Hmm.
can find it, you can download, purchase it. Yes, you need to purchase it so that
That too.
listen, we need to support those that have the things of the kingdom in order to help us to be who God has called us to be in this day and in this time. I'm Pastor Chira. This is the Pastor Chira Show, and I'll see you next week. God bless.